One of the cool new things in Stella Architect 4.0 is the ability to do LTM on just a subset of the variables that you think are most important in your model. So let me show you in the context of inventory workforce before I show you in the context of a very large model where it is most helpful. So here in this inventory workforce model, when we run it, we can see that we have two loops, one with 2 stocks and 9 variables. And if we create a CLD for just that loop, we can see it goes inventory, inventory gap, desired change in inventory, desired production, desired workers, workers gap, hiring or firing, workers producing. If I then show the other loop, let's refresh with that selected loop. You can see it goes workers, workers gap, hiring or firing, workers. And when we put both loops on the screen, you can see the full model structure being presented to you here. Well, what if we wanted to make it a little bit easier for people to understand what those feedback loops were? We could do that using tags by saying, well, I only want workers, hiring or firing, producing, inventory, and desired production to be variables that are considered or presented to people as a result of the LTM analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag all of these variables with LTM or any other word that uniquely identifies them. I can then go in and limit simplified CLDs to variables with tag, and the tag I'm going to choose is LTM. And now when I run the LTM analysis, you'll see that it's presenting to me a much smaller list of loops. It says, well, not of loops, but the loops are identical. It's just they have fewer variables. 2 stocks, 5 variables, 1 stock, 2 variables. And if I select both of the loops and put them on the screen, you can see here that the variables that weren't tagged have been left out of these simplified CLDs. So why is this useful? Well, if we take a model like Frida here, which has got thousands of variables and millions of feedback loops, it becomes really difficult to interpret this model when the loops that LTM is reporting have, 2, 3, 4, 500 variables in them. So I've gone through and I've tagged all the variables I care about with the word ALTM. And you'll see that I've set the save interval to 5 instead of 1, so that I'm doing some of the loop identification less often. And you'll see that I've got calculate loop dominance information turned on. When I run this, you'll see then that Stella is going through and it's computing LTM for us using the strongest path algorithm. The reason why I set the save interval to 5 is to reduce the number of steps, essentially the number of times that it's running the strongest path algorithm that it uses to then measure the most important loops that matter. You can see that it's identified 687,533 candidate loops for analysis, and that's out of the probably millions, maybe even billions of feedback loops that overall exist within this model. And when this process finishes, you'll see here now that the number of variables that are involved in each loop is much smaller. So if I hit create CLD for selected loop, we can then see that this loop is reported for us in its simplified form. And if we highlight over any of the connectors in that loop, it'll show us all of the variables that actually link, in this case, total water withdrawal, to climate risk perception, perceived climate change risk. So this makes it a lot easier to do LTM in your really large models.